Today marks one of the most significant spiritual convergences in recent memory, a total lunar eclipse landing directly on a 33 portal day. These two events don't just coincide, they intensify each other. And if you've been feeling an unusual undercurrent over the past day or two, that's not a coincidence. Spiritually attuned people sense these shifts before the visible signs appear. This isn't an ordinary full moon. It's the kind of moment that stays with people for years. Not everyone moves through a blood moon the same way. Some feel unsettled. Others feel called. This 3-3 portal responds to depth, to the people who've been doing the inner work long before it became a trend. The ones who healed in private, who kept moving forward when no one was watching, who followed their intuition even when it made no logical sense. This eclipse interacts differently with souls who've built quietly. It doesn't reward performance. It rewards endurance. If you've been consistently aligned, imperfectly, privately, persistently, today will feel less like a disruption and more like a recognition. The universe acknowledging every step you took when no one else did. If that resonates, pay close attention. The rewards will be felt most deeply by you, and so will the intensity. If you want to stay connected to content like this, subscribing takes 1 second and keeps these insights in your feed. Before the eclipse reaches totality, one thing matters more than any ritual or practice you might reach for. Establish energetic authority, not externally but internally. During a total lunar eclipse, the emotional field of the collective gets amplified. Fear, doubt, and confusion move through the energetic atmosphere without people realizing they're broadcasting it. If your own frequency isn't anchored, you can start absorbing energy that has nothing to do with your own life. Setting that internal stance now means the portal meets you from a position of clarity. You're choosing where you stand before the shadow crosses the moon. Think of it as spiritual gravity. When you claim your alignment consciously, the portal can't pull you into narratives or reactions that don't belong to you. You remain centered and sharp. The eclipse becomes something you move through with authority, rather than something that moves through you. What makes this eclipse unusual is the speed at which it can catalyze movement. Blood moons operate differently from new moons. They don't nurture intentions gradually. They shake loose what's been stuck. They accelerate whatever has been aligned but blocked. This particular eclipse carries a precision that feels almost surgical. If you've been consistent with a vision, even quietly, even imperfectly, something may click open today. A green light, a sudden clarity, an obstacle that simply dissolves. Manifestation during a blood moon isn't about forcing an outcome. It's about what responds when the shadow crosses and the energetic field reorganizes. The shift always appears. The movement always comes. And what activates today may be exactly what you've been preparing for without realizing it. One of the least discussed effects of an eclipse portal shows up in the physical body. Posture changes without effort. The spine naturally straightens. The shoulders settle. Movements become slower and more deliberate, as if you're operating from a deeper layer of awareness. Eye contact becomes steadier, not forced, just anchored. This happens because the eclipse amplifies internal authority, and that authority expresses itself physically before it ever reaches your words or decisions. Nervous energy fades. The body stops reacting to every small stimulus and begins operating from something more centered. People miss this because they're focused on feeling spiritual or interpreting signs. But the real sign is in your posture, your breath, your steadiness. The body accepts a new identity before the mind understands it. That's the blood moon at work, grounding you, stabilizing you, aligning your physical presence with the version of yourself that's ready to emerge. When the moon enters totality and the world briefly dims, something quiet happens. The energy doesn't surge, it settles. A stillness arrives that even people with no spiritual practice can feel. This is the portal opening, not as a flood, but as a pause. During totality, notice what rises in your mind without effort. A decision you've been circling. A person you keep returning to. A direction you've been hesitant to commit to. These aren't random. They're the deeper self surfacing through the clarity the eclipse creates. Sometimes it's a name. Sometimes it's a memory that finally makes sense. Sometimes it's a truth you've carried for months but weren't ready to claim. Whatever appears in that moment is worth trusting. The mind becomes a witness rather than a narrator, present enough to hear what's real beneath the daily noise. That moment of clarity is the portal, the opening where your next chapter begins to show itself. What rises isn't random. It's direction. This eclipse is pressing on the part of you closest to a breakthrough, the part already strong but not yet fully activated. The pressure some people feel today isn't fear or stress. It's inner momentum building faster than the conscious mind is ready for. The sensation of standing at an edge, not of collapse, but of emergence. Bursts of unexpected courage. Moments where a stronger version of you pushes forward, simplifying decisions, clarifying desires. That's the eclipse doing exactly what it's designed to do. If this kind of content speaks to you, subscribing means you won't miss what's coming next. Fear of blood moons and portal events comes from a misunderstanding of what they actually do. The energy of today's eclipse isn't here to destabilize. It's here to amplify. The portal works best when you're open to it, not bracing against it. Fear creates resistance. Openness creates flow. The eclipse responds to whichever one you bring. Approaching today with genuine willingness, not forced positivity, just honest readiness, makes the energy cooperative. You stop fighting the current and start using it. The portal can't distort someone who has already chosen who they're becoming. It doesn't take anything you aren't already releasing. It doesn't push you somewhere you aren't already leaning. It meets you halfway, amplifying intention and accelerating alignment. Today is something to step toward. The 33 lunar eclipse is a moment that rewards clarity, consistency, and the quiet strength you've been building. The rest, the movement, the breakthroughs, the recognition, will arrive in its own timing. Let it guide you.